G'day folks, I'm Wren, they, them, and it is time for May's TBRGate. So we are up to May and I have two readathons that I really want to complete in May. One of them is the Final Book Support Group, which is hosted by Steph from Steph Loves. This is a week-long, I believe, readathon where the goal is to finish a series and also like make progress in other series as well. And then the other readathon that I really want to do is KuKi Mayhem, which is hosted by Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers. And the goal of KuKi is to read your Kindle or KU or other ebook books. This is a month-long reading challenge. I have made a short list of all the books that I want to read. I'm near 60 books. I would like to get to half of them, but we'll see how that all goes. But let's get into TBRGate things. So for April, I completed my TBRGate. So for final book, I was meant to read Our Dreams at Dusk Volume 4, and I did read that. It got a 4.75, very close to a 5, but it was really, really good. And then my character card was Dr. McKay, and the prompt I picked for that was Most Anticipated. I was meant to read Big Name Fan. I didn't do this, but I did get a few tokens in this round. So I used one of my Science Saves the Day tokens to swap that book for one that I did read, which was Delicious in Dungeon Volume 2, and that was also a 5-star. That might be a little bit complicated, but I did technically complete it. I just needed a swap to do it. Then I had a hive ship on favorite trope. I remember how much I stretched the prompts for this, but one of the books I was meant to read was Light from an Uncommon Star. I actually ended up DNFing this. I just wasn't liking the vibe of it in the first like 20 or 30 pages. It wasn't intriguing me enough to want to continue, so I DNF'd, but a DNF does count for completing the prompt. And then the next favorite trope was Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 5. As of recording, I am halfway through Volume 5, but I am planning on finishing that today, so that'll get done. It'll probably be a 4-star. Which means I get to remove that hive ship. Hell frickin' yes. Then for a thriller, I was to read As Good as Dead. I read it. Then for standalone, I was to read The Cybernetic Tea Shop, and I did read this. It got a 4.5. It was pretty awesome. Then I had another character card, and I had Colonel Coldwell, and for that I was to read either a male author or a non-fiction. I combined it and read Undoctored, and I loved this, 5 stars. Then for 5-star prediction, I was to read The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, Volume 6, and I did read this, and it did get a 5-star. Then I had another hive ship, and that was on friend pick. So Erin and Sasha both picked books for me. The book that Erin picked for me was Profit. I have started this. I think I'm only like 20 pages into it because it's a bit of a big brain book and I've had a migraine for a little bit. I do want to continue reading it, and the fact that I started it well before the end of the month means I do count this as a completed prompt. And then the book that Sasha picked for me was To Catch a Firefly, and I did finish this one and I loved it. It was 5 stars. And then for middle grade, I was to read the second book in the Yarn Quest series, The Great River Rescue, I believe is what it's called. And I did read this and I gave that 5 stars as well. So I actually got 4 Science Saves the Day tokens in this round. And then I did have 2 self-care prompts last month. One was to take myself on a solo date and one was to go get my eyelashes done. I didn't do either of those, but I will try in the future to actually do my self-care prompts because I need them. 2 readathons plus the TBRGate. Let's hope I can get all the books on this TBRGate that I want to. So let's go to the rolls. All right, this is where we left off the board last time, but we have some changes. So I get to take off both of these hive ships because I completed them, which is awesome. And now that corner no longer looks terrifying. And then I also get to have another ZPM because I completed the TBRGate from last month. So now I have 2, and I'm gonna try and get a 3rd this month as well. That would be fun. But I also have 4 Science Saves the Day tokens ready to go. So I didn't need them this time, but I'm gonna, like, you know, put them in the bank, so to say. This is what we're working with, and let's get going with the rolls. So roll number 1. That is 15. Of course, the first one we land on has a hive ship. Alright, and the prompt is a non-pretty cover. Okay, that actually works out really, really well for this month. Alright, roll number 2. That's a 3. And that is a chevron, which means a character card. And this means that this is just extra books. I am not counting these towards my 7 of the month. So, let's see who we got. Oh, we got Dr. Katie Brown. Aww. I don't think I've had her before. That's awesome. So we have wholesome or a plant on the cover. This actually works out so, so well. I already know what book I want for this. All right, next roll. And that is a 9. Oh, so close. And the prompt is favorite trope. I did have this last month, but at least this time I only have to read 1 book for this prompt, so that's good. Next roll. Oh, that almost fell off the page. And this time we got a 6. So close to a chevron once again. Right, and the prompt is emotional. Oh, I haven't had this one in a while. Ooh, okay. That could be interesting. Next roll. And we got 16. Right, and the prompt is rivals. Oh. Okay, that is actually one of the more difficult prompts. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to think about that one. Next roll. 13. Very nice. So far, no double numbers. So, because I landed on this chevron already, I'm going to roll again, and it won't really matter. Alright, that is a 2. And the prompt is jewelry on cover. Oh, I don't think I've had this one at least in like 6 months. Probably longer. Alright, 2 rolls to go. And there is our first double number. That is a 9. So that means I now have a self-care prompt, which we're going to represent with that up the top there. I did not land on the hive ship. I just had to check. And the prompt for this one is readathon. Awesome. I am already partaking in 2, so that is good timing for me. Alright, this should be our very last roll. Let's hope I don't land on a chevron. And we got 18. And our very last prompt is a book, author, or series you've been sleeping on. Ooh, very interesting. Okay. And that is it for this round of TBRGate. So, of course, for the very first roll, I land on a hive ship. So I landed on Sandovi, with the episode for that being Adrift and the prompt for that being a non-pretty cover. I have to read 2 books to complete this one prompt. Luckily, this is a good prompt for this month because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of Kindle books have not great covers. So I had a lot of books to choose from. So the first one that I'm going to read for this is Pushin' Cushion by Vera Valentine. This is the same author that did that Door book, which I read and I really liked, in all honesty. So this time it's about this guy having intimate moments with his couch. I don't know. but it should be funny if nothing else. And I think this author is actually a really good writer. So hopefully I like this one. I don't know if I will, but it'll be an interesting time nonetheless. Then the next book that I want to read for this is Mittens by Phoenix Baker. Look, I got some weird stuff on my Kindle, okay? We all do, be honest. So this is queer, which is always a good time for me. I believe it's sapphic. And this is another one of those interesting, intimate novels. This seems to be a friends to lovers situation. Sexy times involves mittens. I don't know. We'll see how this one goes. But luckily both of these books are like under 100 pages, so I can just smash them out really quick if they turn out to be bad. But it'll be an experience either way. And then I landed on a chevron, and the character card I got was Dr. Katie Brown. She's so cute. So her prompts were either wholesome or plants on the cover. I've gone for plants, and as I said in the roles, I immediately had a book in mind for this, so I'm gonna read it. And that is Scattered Petals by Jade Waltz. Look at this cover. I love this cover, it's so, so pretty. He's a plant. So this is a monster romance, or is it technically alien? Okay, I'm gonna read out the synopsis of this because this sounds very interesting. So it says, after becoming the first female e-gamer to lead her team to victory, I was sucked into a world that couldn't be real. Now I'm stuck in this strange jungle with nothing but my phone, hoping to find a way back home, when I'm rescued from a dangerous creature by a plant man. He teaches me how to survive as a native of this primitive world. The more time we spend together, the more desire I have for my savior. So yes, it is an alien romance. Oh wow, the first 3 reviews are all 1 stars. Wow, this has a 3.5 rating, but it's such a pretty cover. Anyways, yeah, this is just another one of those books that I picked up on like Kindle freebie days. So really want to read it because plant-like creature, I love monster romance. It's one of my favorite tropes. So I am actually looking forward to this, and I'm intrigued by the amount of 1-star reviews. I guess I'll let you know in the next TBRGate how that one went. And then the next glyph I landed on was Allura, with the episode for that being the hot zone and the prompt being favorite trope. And like I just said, monster romances are one of my favorite tropes, so I'm gonna read another one, and that is Scales and Song by Elle Eveland. This is book 2 in the Monsters in My Bed series. The first one was Kissed by the Krampus, really, really good, and super interesting world building that I am very keen for this one, because this is a queer monster romance series. So I'll read a little bit of the synopsis. We were supposed to protect the world from monsters, not become them. All I ever wanted was to protect the people I love. That's why I joined the military's elite specimen containment unit. When I learned how they were experimenting on sentient monsters, however, everything changed. Now I have a new mission. Protect a scaly winged monster named Bud and escort him to somewhere he'll be safe from my superiors. Yet Bud's so sweet and perfect, I can't help but fall for him, even though I know it's too dangerous for us to be together. Ooh, it's good. And it says it features a closeted and traumatized special forces soldier, the sweet cinnamon roll monster who loves him, and a happily ever after. I think this will be great. I really, really loved the first one, and I can't wait to see what the rest of this series has in store. Then the next glyph I landed on was Bido, with the episode for that being Sunday and the prompt being emotional. Now, I actually really struggled with finding a book for this until like 2 minutes before I started filming, and I was like, oh yeah, that book. So I'm going to read The Wicker King by Kay Ankrum. I technically started this almost probably 2 years ago, and like I got halfway and then I stopped, and I always thought that I remembered enough that I could just keep going. And then I looked at the page where my bookmark was and I was like, no way, I cannot. So I'm gonna start this one over, but that's okay because Kay Ankrum, their writing, it's so quick and immersive that I think I will definitely be able to just smash this one out. August is a misfit with a pyro streak, and Jack is a golden boy on the varsity rugby team, but their intense friendship goes way back. It's something they keep for themselves, and they rely on each other for survival. When Jack begins to see increasingly vivid hallucinations, August decides to help Jack the only way he knows how, by believing him, and believing in the fantasy kingdom that creeps into the edges of the real world. Jack leads August on a quest to fulfill a dark prophecy, and together they alienate everyone around them as they struggle with their sanity, free-falling into a surreal fantasy world that feels made for them. In the end, each one must choose his own truth. Very intriguing, and I do know that it is emotional, and what you get in here is this kind of descending into darkness as the pages get darker. I'm really intrigued for that. I only just got to the beginning of that when I stopped. And I do remember, even from what I read, it was like messing with my brain a little bit, but in like a really good way, I promise. So I think this would definitely count for emotional, and I'm excited to finally read this in its entirety. And the next glyph I landed on was El Nami, with the episode for that being Midway and the prompt being Rivals. Once again, I struggled with this prompt until 2 minutes before filming. So I think I might need to change this prompt in the future because it's not broad enough for me to be able to pick a bunch of stuff from. So I think I'll have to change that to something else. I don't know what yet, but I need something that's slightly easier for me to choose books for, instead of just constantly Googling enemies to lovers or books featuring a rivalry, because any of the books that show up for those, I don't want to read. So I need to figure something else out. But the book I did choose, you could say it's a rivalry, you could not, but I'm going with it because I can. And that is Kiss and Tell by Adib Khorram. Once again, a book I've started. I got 50 pages into this before I stopped, and I only stopped because this was just not the vibe I wanted at that time. Like, nothing to do with the book at all. It was very much a me thing, and I am looking forward to continuing this. So in this, we have two guys from two different bands, and one of them is openly gay, and he has to really struggle with being like the perfect gay boy for the press. And then when he's not, he gets villainized, and shit like that is intense. But he is no longer in a relationship with this other famous person, and the press loved them together. But it's been a while, and now he's having feelings for this other guy in this other band, and the press is gonna do what they will with that. But I chose this for rivalry because they're in two different bands. And, you know, they both have their own kind of motivations for like wanting success. I just really love Adib Khorram's writing. Darius the Great is one of my favorite books of all time. So I am really keen to read more of Adib's works. And I know that I don't like music in books, but I'm hoping that because it's Adib Khorram that I will love it. Then the next glyph I landed on was Salma, with the episode for that being Suspicion and the prompt being Jewelry on the Cover. Now, this might be stretching a little bit, but I'm gonna count it. So, what I'm going to read is Well Travelled by Jen DeLuca, and this is the 4th book in the Well Met series, which I think isn't finished with this book. I swear I saw the other day that Jen DeLuca is writing more in this series, and I'm so excited. This is a special edition that I have here. Yeah, it's the Afterlight exclusive. So this is the dust jacket. There's no jewelry on this one. And then the naked hardback. Also, no jewelry on this one. But the original paperback does have jewelry on the cover. She's got rings, earrings, bracelet, all that kind of good stuff. Even though this is the edition I'll be reading, not this one, I'm still going to count it. So once again, a book I've already started. I'm 82 pages into this, and I will just continue on from where I stopped, even though this one's been probably like 6 months to a year, but I definitely remember everything, so it's all good. I will just continue on. In this series, we are following couples that are a part of the Renaissance fair scene, which is so much fun. I didn't care about it until I read the first in this series, and now I'm obsessed. So in this, we are following Lulu, who is the cousin of one of the main characters from a previous book. She's never really been like fully into the Renaissance scene, but she's come to a point in her life where she kind of needs to escape. She like quits her job, leaves her house, and is hiding in a Renaissance fair for the summer, which is very, very cute in all honesty. She just kind of needed a change. She needed a break. And when she is partaking in the Renaissance fair life, she meets Dex, who is a musician in the Renaissance fair scene. He's quite popular, especially with the ladies. They're gonna have their own romance here, so I'm really intrigued to see that. And just to get back into this world, it's so much fun. And I love Jen DeLuca's writing. So yeah, these are really lovely books, really great romances. And I have found that in all of the books, I've really, really connected with the main characters and the things that they go through. They're really, really good books in general, not just romances, but they are good contemporary fiction. And I highly, highly recommend everyone going to read this series. It's a good time. Then the next glyph I landed on was Aldeni, with the episode for that being Echoes and the prompt being a readathon. So I'm technically going to use both readathons for this prompt because I am reading a KU book and I am reading the final book in a series. So for this, I'm going to read Camilla Devereux's Gentleman Callers, which is book 6 in the Naughty Divorcee series by Calypso Hart. This is a plus-size, bisexual, polyamorous-ish romance series. All the books are around 50 to 80 pages, and it is just fun time scenes. But I really loved this series. It's been a really fun time. I like the dynamics with the characters. So we follow Camilla, who at the beginning of the first book, she was just coming out of a marriage and she really wanted to, you know, find herself. And she meets this couple at a bar, I believe. And the woman approaches her and is like, hey, I think you're gorgeous. Want to come have some fun with me and my husband? And she does, and a beautiful friendship comes out of that. Throughout all of the books, we get these fun time scenes with Camilla and this couple. And I think in this one, it'll be Camilla, the husband, and another guy. Don't know who, but that'll be fun. But Camilla and the wife have always kind of had this very intense relationship with each other. So they're going to have some scenes as well. But it is the final book in this series, which I am glad to have finished this series. It's been fun, but I've just dragged it on for too long now. And then the last glyph I landed on was Irami, with the episode for that being Doppelganger, and the prompt being a book, series, or author you've been sleeping on. I'm going to go with series for this one because it's taken me so damn long to get to the next book in the series. And I've put this next book on several TBRs and I still haven't done it. And that book, of course, is All the Lies, which is book 4 in the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. I've been meaning to read book 4 for so long and I just, for some reason, kept putting it off. But I am determined to finish this series in May. Not just the 4th book, but the 5th as well. Fingers crossed I can actually do that now that I've said it aloud, but I would really, really like to finish this series because it's been 5 stars so far. This is about a female serial killer who is a very prolific serial killer, so much so that the FBI have become aware of the murders, and our serial killer ends up dating one of the FBI agents that is technically hunting her down, but they don't know that it's her. It's so good, so good. I love the depravity of our serial killer, the justice that she is serving. I'm here for it. And I love her as a character. She's so complex. And I really love the relationship between these two as well. Their development has been really good. And I'm so keen to see how this is gonna wrap up because something big has gotta happen. But it'll be very fun to see what happens at the end here. And hopefully I'll have 2 more 5 stars out of this because this is just such a fun, messed up time, but it's so good. It's so entertaining that you can't not love it, you know? And also if you love Criminal Minds, read this. This very much reads like Criminal Minds. It's fantastic. So that was actually all of the books, which is honestly really good because most of them are really short. I'm hopeful that May will be another smashed out TBR. I want that ZPM, but I did get 1 double in this round, so that means 1 self-care prompt. And I think the prompt this time is just gonna be to book a hair appointment. I have not gone to the hairdressers in over a year now, and my cousin, who also has, you know, the same kind of curls as mine, a bit looser than mine, but similar. She was like, this hairdresser is actually good if you want to go. And that's the hardest thing about having curly hair, is finding a hairdresser that can actually cut curly hair. The goal is just to book the appointment, because I've put off booking for 3 or 4 months now, because I think I need to start my self-care prompts a bit smaller so that I might actually complete them. But that'll be the prompt for this month. That's all the books, that's all the prompts, that's all the readathons. Please let me know down below if you think I could actually read all 60 of my KuKi Mayhem books in May. I don't think I can, but I might try. So that's going to be it from me. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.